Wanna be where the sugar daddies are. I wanna see them spending their money on, what's that word again? Me.
Story time on how I first started getting into this, guess, sugar baby life. Just being paid, basically, right? Whatever y'all want to call it, y'all could call it. I am not going back and forth with none of these people on here. But this is the first time I got into that type of lifestyle. I always was attracted to older men, even at a young age. Even when I was 18, I was dating somebody that was 25, 26 years old. So I always was attracted to older men. So I felt like it came easy to me to even date older men. And I was like, so why not date older men that, got money? Like, it just makes sense for me, so I was like, dating an older man is easy for me. I already like them. I already like their mindset and stuff. So why not be with an older man that got money and that could take care of me, right? Or could just do things for me. And so my first older man my first really, really older man was when I think I was 22 and he was about 37. So that was my first older man. And 44s, 38. It's been a lot, y'all. So it's been a lot of situations. I'm a relationship type of girl. So any type of person that I deal with, I always end up being in a relationship, a situationship, or whatever it is. And I get the bag out of it. So that's just that. A lot of people always ask me, like, my friends, specifically my friends always used to tell me, like, how do you go out with them? Are you not ashamed that he could be your dad, that this and that? Listen, nobody pays my bills, so I don't care what. And I learned that literally probably 3 years ago, that I was like, why am I ashamed to go outside with a person that's taking care of me? Like, no. I should be ashamed being outside with a man that's not taking care of me and is broke, doesn't have a job, doesn't have a crib. It's a whole at that point, And so I always, that came and penetrated in my mentality, was like, okay, nah, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what people think. People are always going to talk. That's just number one. People are always going to talk. Like, no matter what you do, people are always going to talk. So either you're doing good, either you're doing bad, people are still going to talk their shit. And that's just that. That's reality about it. Even at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm only getting a little older. I don't care what people think. I'm here. I'm getting my bag. I'm being well taken care of. Nothing is missing in my life. So I'm good. And so, yeah. And so just the security and the security, the attention, the mindset of an older man always was, I was always attracted to it. So dating somebody my age or somebody younger, it's like, it's not happening. It can't happen unless, they have the same kind of qualities as an older man. Then it's different. So that's the reason why I like date older men. And I always preach about women should be dating men. Age is just a number, honestly, because there be men that are literally older and they act so young. They have a young soul. They're young-hearted. They do most of the stuff that literally a young boy could do, just with money, And so they even have more energy. A lot of them take care of themselves even more. They be in the gym. A lot of these young dudes, they let themselves go. All they do ones want to do drugs, party, have sex, and all of that. So that it's not my type of vibe. If that is your type of vibe, that's you. But this is why I come on here on TikTok and preach, because I want better for each and everybody. Like, every woman deserves to be treated like a queen, like, first of all. And especially, I'm not saying every woman, majority of the women, though. Man, like, a man wants you to bring something to the table. You cannot be only bringing beauty and looks, and that's that. You got to know how to cook. You got to know how to clean. You got to know how to fold clothes. You got to know how to decorate a towel, folding, like shit like that. Like, you just can't be sitting on your ass all day not doing anything. Like, that's just not gonna happen. And if you think that happens, you got it effed up. You'll be waiting for life, because a man doesn't want that. And I tell you that from experience, because I actually, when I first dated my first older man, that's what I really did. Just sat around. Obviously, I worked. I always was, I always had a hustle. That hustle is born in me. That's just that. So I always had money first. So being with a man, you got to do something bigger than what I'm bringing to myself. That's just that. I always had that mentality, right? And so, story time.
Hey y'all, what's up? This is my first story time video. I'm gonna do the story time since I don't have 1,000 followers yet, so I can't go live. But once you guys get me to 1,000 followers, then I can go live. But yeah, this is story time. I'm just gonna do a story time on my dating life. So, the past week, boom, I go on a date with this old man. He's 48. He's black. He's a pastor. So we went to a couple places. We went go-karting. We went to Top Golf. Actually, when we got to the go-kart place, he didn't want to go-kart. He just paid my way to go-kart. And he sat and watched me like the old-ass man that he is. So boring. So anyway, yeah, like he was not talking much. It was just damn near the worst date of my life. So like he hit me like later, like, oh, when I'm gonna see you the next day, trying to see me again. I'm like, bro, you barely talked. I don't want to see you again. That was miserable. Like, I'm not that desperate to go do activities on someone else's dime. Like, no. I mean, it's cool getting a free date, but it's like, it's kind of torture, like, how awkward he is. Next day, I go on another date with like a 43-year-old. Tell me why he asked for a kiss before we even get in the restaurant. Mind you, I've met him once before, so it's not our first time meeting, but still. This is our second time meeting, our first date. Why do you think I'm gonna kiss you? Bill came. After he paid, he asked for a kiss again. We get in the car. He asked for another kiss. I declined all 3 times. Then, like, when we were in the car, like, he dropped me off back to my car. He got real grabby, like, he was grabbing my breast, grabbing my booty. I was like, what are you doing? Like, I put a quick stop to that. I was like, I need $400 for some bills. I wasn't selling myself. I'm just letting him know, like, I need some bills. Since you're so comfortable grabbing me, I'm finna feel so comfortable asking you for some damn money. He was like, we'll talk about it. I was like, no, we won't. What's up? What's good with the money? So, like, he wasn't on nothing. So I got up on out that car, deleted his number. He ain't hit me. I ain't hit him. Long story short, these old men, unless they come at you offering money, you're not going to get any money out of them. They just want to waste your time.
Get ready with me to go to a Christmas party while I tell you about a time a sugar daddy asked me to be his sugar baby. So a couple of years ago, I worked at a hotel where there was a lot of sugar daddies, where even rappers would take like their mistress, and we had to sign a contract upon being hired that we could not say anything or to anyone or post it on social media because we'll immediately be fired and they have the right to press charges. So I had not been working there for not even like a week when this happened. I think it was my first day of training when this happened, and I was just like shook. We would see sugar daddies with their sugar babies all the time, and it was actually super, super normal, and then they would come back with their wife, which was like, okay, we just had to mind our own business. So this one sugar daddy came, and like I mentioned, it was my first day out of being out of sight of training. Like, I had just finished my training, it was my first day, and I was bartending, so I was bartending at the pool, and he was ordering, and I was like, hey, what may I get for you? Because they're really rich people, so we had to like be super like, oh my god, what may I get for you? If you don't like it, don't worry, I'll fix it up and everything. And because I was giving good service, he told my manager, he's like, oh my god, you guys should give her a raise, a promotion. She's so amazing, all these stuff. And mind you, the sugar baby was right next to him, and she was giving me that dirty look, and my entire crew saw, all my coworkers saw it. And he kept flirting with me in front of her, and I was like, oh no, like, I'm not interested in you. I'm not interested in doing that kind of assortment. I'm not judging anybody who does that, but like, I was not into it. So obviously she didn't want any more drinks because I was a bartender, and she was annoyed at me because her sugar daddy was like flirting with me in front of her, and she probably thought she was going to lose her sugar daddy, which not, at least not with me, girl. Hell no. And so they went back out to the pool, and either way, like, so for the pool we had servers for the pool, and I was just in the bar and where you make the drinks because I was being the bartender, so I would get all the orders that they would put in through the little machine. And then one of my coworkers, who's a guy, was like, yo, I didn't bring my glasses on, but I'm pretty sure she's naked, and you're not allowed to be naked because there's family there. Like, the sugar daddy kept getting up to me and asking me stuff like, oh my God, where are you from? Like, you have an accent, this and that, the third. And I was like, oh, I'm from Costa Rica and stuff like that. But I was like keeping it short. Like, I was not trying to hold a conversation. And she lied naked in the pool in front of him. I guess he didn't want to lose his attention and thought that I was gonna steal her sugar daddy, whatever. And she lied naked in front of him, in front of everyone there at the pool. Like, the JJ facing him, like the head facing the pool, the JJ facing him. And he was not budging, yo. And we had to call security on her.
Serious talk about this app getting deleted next month, I figure now is the perfect time to start oversharing everything. So do you guys want to hear the story about the time that my literal Splenda father sent me to literal jail in Vegas? Just for the sake of the story, we're gonna call this man Henry, okay? And I met Henry when I first started dancing. I was very new to the game and had never really been like spoiled before. So this guy comes in and he brings not only a fat tip, like a bunch of money, but he also brought me a Nintendo Switch. And it was when Nintendo Switches first came out. And so I remember being like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this was the first time that I truly felt like spoiled in my job. So this process continued for like a few months. He would come see me at the club. He would always bring me like a little gift. He would send me food, little things like that. And that's kind of how he got himself into the place of even being my Splenda father to begin with. I should also mention that at this time I'm in college, so I'm broke and I'm dancing to basically help me pay for my tuition because I was doing self-pay. And after like a few months of him coming to see me at the club, he hit me with the proposition of, hey, like, I would love to give you a monthly allowance, and in exchange for that we'll go on a few dates. Like, we would go out to dinner. He took me on a helicopter once, like just random shit, right? And he'd just be like, in exchange for the companionship, he would give me X amount of money to live my life. Anyway, to make a long story short, this goes on great for like over a year. We have a wonderful arrangement. Everything's going fantastically. I have no issues. So when he asks me, hey, where do you want to go for your graduation? Like, as a graduation gift for me, he got me a trip anywhere in the fucking world that I wanted to go. And tell me why I chose Vegas. Just a little side note here, because it is actually very important to the story. Henry is an ex-hug user, and he has been sober at this point for like 10 years. So he lives that like fully sober lifestyle. And at this point, I am like 23 years old. I just got out of college. I'm going crazy and I want to party. So our mindsets were like totally different. So anyway, we get down to Vegas, and the first night that we're there, it is going horribly because I just want to drink while I'm there, and he is fully sober. And I ended up blacking out, okay? I'm not proud of this, but I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember being very feisty, being very mad, and being like, I just want to drink. Like, not a good look, but you know when you're there. But the first night and that first morning, we did not spend any time together because I just wanted to go drink and party and walk around, and he just wanted to like sit in the room and be sober, and that was totally fine. But at that time, it was not okay for me, and I just wanted to go. So I didn't spend any time with him that first night, or like I saw him a little bit the next morning, but that next morning it was just spent fighting. We were just arguing with each other. He was mad that I wanted to drink. I was mad that he was being a stick in the mud, and I was like, we're literally here celebrating my college graduation and you're being fucking boring. Like, I don't care if you don't want to drink, but like, come drink with me, you know? Like, I don't want to feel like a delinquent. Anyway, it's going horribly at this point. So we argue for a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm gonna go hit the bar. And actually, looking back on this story, it's really sad how much this entire thing revolves around alcohol and how much alcohol was the root of the issue. And I just didn't even see it. And as a person who's sober now, like, it's sad to look back on, but this is really what happened. I was really freaking out over alcohol. So it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. I think it's like a Saturday because I'm pretty sure we got there on a Friday. I'm at the bar drinking, as one does in Vegas, and he, as far as I know, is up in the room or doing something. So then a couple hours later, after I'm sufficiently drunk and I decide I'm in a good mood again, I decide I'm gonna go up to his room and I'm gonna try and be really nice to him and like butter him up and everything. Tell me why I go up to his room. I have a key. I open the door. All of his stuff is gone. It is packed up, empty. It is gone. He's gone. At this point, I literally feel like I'm in an episode of Pranked. Like, I'm like, oh, is he just hiding his stuff from me? So I try calling him and I'm like texting him. all of my stuff, I'm blocked. It's all just being sent as text message. I'm being sent to voicemail. So I realized very quickly my number is blocked. All of his stuff is gone. He dipped. He's gone. And I probably said something that pissed him off. I don't know, but he's gone. And it's just me here now. What am I supposed to do? So like any other normal person, I went down to the pool and I started charging, because you have to understand how Vegas works is like when you have a room charged to a card, you can go to the pool and literally charge things just to your room. Like you don't have to pay right there. And since everything, all the rooms, everything was booked under his name, I went down to the pool and I was just buying drinks and shots for myself and for anybody who wanted a drink and charging it to the room so that it would be charged to his card. When I tell you that I got so drunk that day, it's literally probably the most drunk I've ever been in my life, because I was drinking on somebody else's dime and I'm here with a bunch of people in Vegas and we're all partying. I actually ended up meeting two amazing, wonderful women who they will come back up later in this story, but I met them there at the pool. But yeah, I'm just buying drinks for everybody. And the last thing I remember, it's like 2:30. I'm drunk as hell. I'm sitting in a pool and I'm taking pictures with these two ladies. It all goes black in my head. And the next thing that I remember is waking up in jail. And you know those girls that are in Vegas and they're the Vegas showgirls, they're like dressed in the feathery like peacock outfits and they walk the street? Yeah, so I wake up in jail and I'm sitting next to one of those girls and I have my head in this other lady's lap and she's playing with my hair. She's like braiding my hair or something, and I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Like I literally woke up in this random holding cell. Then I start freaking out. I'm waking up. I have the worst hangover. My head is pounding. I'm drinking water out of like the back of the toilet because that's how the fucking water fountains are in jail. And I'm just having the worst hangover of my entire life. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I see there's like a police officer or whatever standing outside the window, and I'm like trying to get her attention. I'm like, hey, excuse me, what did I do? And she literally tells me that I'm like being fucking crazy. Oh, now you decide to be normal. That's what she told me. You were being fucking crazy like an hour ago. Sit back down. Tells me to shut the fuck up, sit back down. So I did, because I'm scared. So then a few hours later, they bring us out into like the main lobby area, Gen Pop, I think is what it's called. So it's just like a bunch of people out there, and they had like 300 girls. It was packed. There's girls sitting on the floor. There's no room for anyone to sit in this like holding area. And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The girl next to me, the one who I woke up and my head was in her lap, yeah, she was telling me how they had done a huge bust, like a bust on a bunch of girls, and then shipped them in there, like brought them in there. I'm not going to say what kind of bust this was, but you know exactly what kind of bust this was. And that's why there was a bunch of girls in there. So immediately I'm freaking out, because I'm like, I don't want them to think that I am a part of that bust. Like I didn't do anything like that. So I raise my hand. I'm like, excuse me, like, can I ask what my charge is? The CO, I'm like, excuse me, I didn't do that, so I can't be busted for that. Like, why am I here? And he goes, your charge is so much worse, sit back down. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Literally, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm so fucking confused at this point. It is like the movie The Hangover, but like on crack. So long story short, I sit in jail for 2 days. And mind you, the whole time I'm sitting in jail, I'm cursing Henry. I'm like, fuck Henry, I can't believe he left me. He did this all to me. But now looking back on it, I'm like, okay, maybe it was the drinking, girl. Like, you gotta tone this down. So basically what had ended up happening was I had blacked out so hard at the pool that they had to call an ambulance for me and take me to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, they're like putting an IV in my arm, and I had come to out of my drunken stupor and I hit the nurse that was helping me. Did I feel like an absolute delinquent and menace to society when I found out this information? Yes, the fuck I did. I was so embarrassed. But luckily the judge was super cool. He said that like crazy things like this happen with people from out of town all the time, which is also even more embarrassing. But he basically was just like, go back home, be good, don't do anything, and this will be dropped off your record. So it has been dropped off my record, but like I was literally released from jail at 7 o'clock in the morning in my swimsuit, because mind you, I went to jail in my swimsuit because I was at the pool. So when I got released from jail, I'm literally in my swimsuit on Fremont Street at 7 something in the morning. It was horrible. And to this day, I don't really remember a lot of the details, and a lot of the details that I do remember is from those two ladies that I met at the pool, because they are just like my little angels. When I got back to my phone after I was released from jail, they had messaged me on Facebook like 100 times, making sure I was okay, making sure that if I needed anything, they would stay in town, like they would extend their trip. And like that was just so sweet. They didn't have to do that. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't my Splenda father that sent me to jail. It was the consequences of my own actions. But you're probably wondering, whatever happened to Henry? Is that it? Did he just go and block you forever? Well, yes, he kept me blocked. I never heard from him for years, and I'm gonna have to make a part 2 to this story, because this man came into the club and is back. Since morning, this is part 2 of my cursed Splendifather experience, story time, whatever you want to call it. In part 1, we left off, I hadn't spoken to Henry in about 5 years, and he just popped up at the club after I had already gone to jail and all of that. So let's pick back up. Before I talk about the return of Henry, I need to tell you guys about what happened prior to this Vegas trip because it is very important. So before me and Henry had even gone to Vegas together, I had introduced him to one of my really good friends. Now, mind you, we never all hung out together. I kind of did like a virtual introduction, like, oh, hey, by the way, Henry, here's one of my really good friends, blah, blah, blah. And in hopes that like not only could she make extra money, but then he has somebody else to lean on, because it's a lot, like being an emotional support for somebody like that. Like even though you're getting paid, it is still a lot of like mental and emotional turmoil, right? So I'm like, this will be a win-win-win for everybody. So just keep this in mind. Also, for anybody wondering, I didn't get in trouble like legally when I was in Vegas because I was using his card or charging money to his card or anything like that. My official charge ended up being on a protected persons, and the charge did get dropped. I've gotten background checks since then. It's not there anymore. To answer anybody's questions, yes, I did apologize to the nurse and the staff and the judge and the police officers. I felt horrible, okay? Like it was one of my lowest moments and very embarrassing. So now that we have all that out of the way, let's talk about what the fuck happened. So it's 2019, I just graduated college, I'm home from Vegas, and of course I'm like scared because I just got out of jail in Vegas, so I'm like being good, right? And I've noticed this since I got home, I'm like hearing from my friend less and less. Like I literally never hear from her. And one day I realized I'm blocked on everything. Like I'm not friends with her on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. Like I can't find her. My number's blocked. Our other childhood best friend like blocked me. Everybody blocked me. I was out of my life completely. So now not only am I fresh out of jail, I've just lost the like arrangement that I had going with my Splendifather, but now my best friend isn't talking to me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, so I'm like losing it. I'm like literally in the lowest point of my fucking life. Like in this moment, I'm like, wow, I don't have my best friend. I literally lost access to my monthly allowance. What the fuck am I gonna do with myself? Now you have to keep in mind that because I just had a horrible experience with Henry in Vegas, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? My childhood best friend doesn't want to be friends with me anymore because I got her into dancing and I introduced her to Henry and he probably did something fucked up, and so now she's blaming me. And so I blamed myself for years and years and years. I let this sit and fester in my heart that I was a horrible person, that I did not deserve to be friends with this person, that I deserved to lose everything. Like I had convinced myself, you did this to yourself. You are a horrible person. And that was a very sad thing for me to be convincing myself. So anyway, this continues for 5 years. I'm just living my life like normal, moving on, trying to make new friends, yada, yada, yada. And I haven't thought about Henry. I am just like, my life has completely moved on. I don't give a single fuck, right? And at the beginning of this year, actually, so mind you, I haven't spoken to Henry or my ex-best friend at this point in like 5 years. At the beginning of this year, 2024, I applied to work at a new club. And wouldn't you know, the person that I am put with on my first night at this club, like one of the girls that I'm working with, is my childhood ex-best friend. Like we're like there together, and this is the first time we've seen each other, first time we've spoken in literal years. So because I had like gaslit myself over the last few years to think that she doesn't like me anymore because I got her into dancing, because I introduced her to Henry, this is what I've told myself for years. So this is what I'm going in thinking is going to be the problem. For the sake of this video, we're gonna call my friend Miley, okay? So me and Miley were working this shift together, and she looks at me and she's like, can we just talk about what happened? Like I really want to squash the beef. And I'm like, yes, please. Like I'm so fucking curious. So it turns out that Henry, this fucking conniving ass piece of shit, he gets back from Vegas, right? And he decides, I'm gonna hit up Miley, and they start hanging out and being friends and doing whatever. And he somehow convinces her to not be friends with Cody anymore. He's like, let's cut her out and like, I'll take care of you. This will all be like a real cool situation, but you cannot talk to Cody anymore. And it literally became this like driving a wedge between us. Like, are you in fucking high school? Like, it's the weirdest fucking thing. Like, you are a whole grown ass man. What the fuck are you doing in some tea like this? Let me just also add that because I'm a dancer, I understand like needing a means for survival. So I get like if somebody's paying your bills and they're telling you, hey, don't do this, don't talk to this person, whatever, and you think at the end of the day your bills are going to be paid, I get that, okay? So I will never ever ever fault Miley. We don't fault women around here, okay? Why are you as a grown-ass man being like, you can't talk to Cody? That's fucking weird. So me and Miley completely squash our beef. We're really cool again. And it's funny how the universe works like this because like I said, I have not heard from Henry. I have not seen Henry. I haven't even like seen his like Instagram profile, like literally ghost. Haven't seen anything. But it's funny because as soon as me and Miley became friends again, then he started to kind of like pop back around because apparently he saw me on Instagram and that's how he knew to come find me at the club. And I'm like, you sneaky little guy. So let's talk about when he first came to the club, okay? He comes in and mind you, when he was my Splenda father, he was a lot heavier. He had braces. There was just a lot of things that were different about him. So when he came into the club this next time, I legitimately did not even recognize him. It wasn't until I saw his tattoos that I was like, oh my God, is this Henry? Like seriously, braces changed his face shape and everything. It was fucking crazy. So he comes into the club. This girl comes up to me. She's like, hey, this guy back there, Henry, is looking for you. And he's wearing a hat. Like, I don't recognize him. And I'm like, okay. And once he takes off his jacket and I see his tattoos, that's when I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? So like, this is the weird thing. He came back, but there was no like, hey, long time no see or anything like that. It was like, he didn't even mention that it was him. He was just gonna bank on the fact that I wasn't gonna be able to recognize him, I guess. I don't know, like motherfucker, your face hasn't changed that much, okay? So I recognize him after we're sitting in the club with each other for like 5 minutes. We're literally, and I'm like, Henry? And he's like, oh, yeah, long time no talk. I thought this was gonna be really awkward. Plot twist, it was really fucking awkward because one of the first questions he decided to ask me was, so what happened back then? What the fuck do you mean what happened back then? It's been 5 years and what happened back then was I was in jail. That's what the fuck happened. What do you mean? You left me in Vegas. There is no more to that story. You don't get to find out the rest of the story. Like, none of your fucking business, okay? Even though I just put it on TikTok, but whatever. So we go do a dance together and it's really fucking awkward because the whole time we're like trying to avoid this elephant in the room, which is what the fuck happened 5 years ago. But I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. My life has literally moved on so much past that. His life has probably moved on past that. Like, why are we gonna sit and talk about the past? There's literally no fucking point. You're gonna pay me some money right now and we're gonna get the fuck on with our life. So anyway, we get done with this dance. It's horribly awkward the entire time. I literally feel like it's just awkward. It's like a blast from the past, like horrible. So dance is over. First thing I do is I call Miley because obviously, hello, what else are you supposed to do? So I call Miley up and I'm like, girl, you're never gonna believe who just came into the club. It was fucking Henry. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? And instead of just leaving it and being like, oh, okay, cool, that's whatever, we decide, let's team up on this motherfucker. Like, you're not gonna drive a wedge between us and then face zero consequences from that, right? So the crazy thing is, we put him in a little group chat and we're texting him together and he does not even believe that we're friends. Like, he literally thinks that he has driven this wedge so deep between us that there's no way that we're actually friends. It's actually fucking crazy. So we're on one side of the group chat being like, no, we're really good friends. Like, come see us. We literally just wanted money. Like, that's all it is. It's not that deep. And he's on the other side being like, I don't know. It feels really scandalous. How are you guys friends again? What do you mean, how are we friends again? You sound crazy. So anyway, on the side, me and Miley, we're discussing what should our apology fee be? Because he's not going to come back around and pay the minimum. Like, if he's going to come back around, and especially if he's going to see both of us at the same time, he owes us each a massive apology fee for being a piece of shit to both of us and driving a wedge between us and making it so that we weren't friends. You owe us, okay? So we're setting this up on the side while we're also messaging him, right? And we finally convince him to come in, and I'm gonna have to do a part 3 because this video is already super long, but in part 3 we will talk about the dance that we all—
It's been a while since I give y'all a story, right? So it's only right that I do give the loyal followers what they want, right? Even though I'm technically losing followers by posting original content. But hey, for the ones that are still here, this is for y'all. And I was going to do this Keith Lee style, but I didn't feel like doing all those cuts and edits, I'm not even going to lie. But here we are. This is the time that I call myself getting a white sugar daddy, and he ended up being weird, y'all. Before y'all judge me. I think I was 20 at the time. I was definitely 20. I was not 21 yet at all. So once upon a time, y'all, I worked at the UPS store, the storefront, not shipping, the storefront. That was one of my favorite jobs in the world, y'all. Because they were just so great with college students. They were able to, work around time and, factor in time for studying tests. Like, they cared about stuff like that. Not just you needed to be off for class. Like, oh no, do you have a test coming up? You need to be off this many hours early so you can study. Like, they care about you there. And I appreciated that, those 3 to 4 years that I worked there. But, however, I had some I have things happen to me while I was there. Now, and I have to blur this man's face a little bit because there's a picture of him. So y'all might, yeah, I mean, y'all not gonna recognize him, but I don't really care anymore about exposing him because he actually was talking to me under a pseudonym. Like, middle-aged white men are weird. Like, mind you, so I was working in the UPS store. This is a customer service job, so I'm standing at the register a lot of the time, and I'm greeting everyone that comes in, right? So there's this guy that comes in, and he was fairly handsome, older white male. He had a mailbox. So thing about UPS stores, you can get a physical mailbox there. So it's better than a post office, because it's a physical address. You know, packages like UPS don't go to the post office. So if you were to get packages, it can go to that mailbox. So a lot of people have that mailbox for their businesses, whatever, what have you. So he had one for his, I can't remember what business it was, but he had one for his business, and he has some personal mail come there because where he lived was like way out, and he didn't want basically the postal service, he get confused delivering his mail or wherever it was, I don't know. So he had a mailbox at the UPS store, and he used to come in and he'll be nice. Hey, how are you? Most of the time he wouldn't speak, but when he would speak, he was real pleasant. So the thing about UPS stores, they have a lot of regulars. So he was a regular customer, not only just for checking his mailbox, but he used to get stuff printed too. We're gonna say that his name is Donnie. Like, Donnie is his real name, but I'm actually going to say the pseudonym that he was trying to talk to me under. So, yeah, the pseudonym is Trey Anderson. But we're going to say his name was Donnie, right? So Donnie comes in one day, and besides the regular just checking his mailbox, he starts to, kind of inquire how I'm doing. He's like, hey, how are you? What do you do? Are you in school? This and all that. And at the time, I think I was definitely a sophomore in college, and I was only 2 or 3 years into the military at that time. So I was telling him all that. I was like, yeah, my major is psychology. I'm also in the National Guard, so, that's helping pay for school a little bit, and then I work here, just regular life stuff. And then he started talking about, he was just like, don't be a stranger, you can speak to me when I come in. And I'm like, what do you mean I can speak to you when you come? I speak to everyone when they come in here. That's part of being a customer service rep. I have to speak to everyone that comes in. So he was just, I guess he wanted me to treat him kind of special or something, but he was just kind of like, yeah, you can talk to me when I come in, all this jazz. And I said, okay, so every time after this point forward, he comes in, he chit-chats for a few minutes. And then one day he decides to give me his number. Actually, cut back a little bit. I did lie. I had been like 22, because this was after my mom passed. I don't have the text message threads when we originally started texting, and here's the reason why. Y'all know I'm a connoisseur of keeping every motherfucking thing. But, we only had one, actual iMessage conversation, and it was for me to come to his house, so there wasn't really much communication, so I didn't save that screenshot. So fast forward, I start texting this man, and he's really nice, and then he's just kind of like, hey, I like to help girls out from time to time and all this kind of stuff. And he had showed me, some different girls that he has helped, and some of them I knew. So I was like, okay, so you want me to come over here and sit with you for a little bit and you'll give me some money? Some money? And basically, yeah, he was just like, I just want the company. I don't really care to, I don't want to have sex, if it gets to that, cool, but I don't really want to do that. That's not how I start off. And I said, oh, got you. I knew this man lived in the next city over from me, and he lived in a wooded area. And I do know plenty of people in this city, so basically, I had my location known, and if anything went down, somebody nearby would know about it. But, however, I was not smart in going to this man's house because this is a white man, I'm a black female, and he wants to take care of me. So I very well could have died. But he did not kill me, but I do think that if I would have returned to his house after that first time, he would have definitely killed me, and I'm gonna show y'all why. Ultimately, at least in the Bible Belt, when a white male is infatuated with a black female, it's to be questioned all the time. It seems like it's never a sincere infatuation at all. Like, their mind goes immediately to, oh, that's a beautiful black woman. Let me lure her in so I can try and kill her. Like, that's their logic. And I'm like, you could just leave us alone. So, and the movie Get Out had not come out during this time, so I had no idea that this man would even, like, that was even an approach. He would try to date me and then lure me in and then kill me. But I went to this man's house, right? It wasn't too big of a deal. Now, I will tell you one thing. I pulled into his house. It was super nice, as I thought. He lived in a wooded area, like, very much. It was wooded, gated, like, he had a whole setup going. It was a very large house. To be expected, because every time he came in, he was real low-key. You know, he comes outside to get me, he walks me in the house. He's super, super polite, y'all. Like, this really could have went somewhere, but he got weird. I got this house. He didn't offer me no drink or nothing. Which I'm not saying it'd be rude, but you know, that's the first suspicion if they offer to make you a drink. Yeah, he ain't offered to make me no drink or nothing. He offered me a sealed water bottle, you know, that I watched him get out of his refrigerator. He did feed me too, y'all. And it wasn't food that he made. It was leftover food that he had from Olive Garden. So I didn't die. I don't know if he tainted his own food, but I didn't pass out and I'm still here. So right now, everything's safe. And he's super nice. Casual conversation, very respectful. We just talked about school. We talked about things he's done in his life. How he's got where he is. Like, he seemed like a mentor, very much so. Basically, his whole vibe, even up to me coming to his house and leaving his house, did not give weird. It wasn't weird until after. And then, like, I think I sat there about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We talked. And then, like, he was just kind of like, well, you know, I'm going to head to bed soon. You ought to be heading home. And I was like, yeah, you know, it's getting kind of late, mind you, at the time. It had been like, maybe like 9:15. Now, this how you know that this man had money. He proceeded to stop me on the way out the door and just be like, you know, hold on, I gotta give you something. This man proceeded to go in the freezer. I don't have the text message threads when we originally started texting, and he was
quickly deleted on my last post that they hate this fake ass voice. I don't know what to tell you, hun. I mean, y'all don't watch it if I don't use the voice. But we gonna test that theory, okay? She quickly deleted her comment. But yeah. And simply because one of her keywords is I have to approve the comment because she used the keyword. I did plan on doing this video in my real voice because I feel like y'all should hear my real voice when I'm reading these text messages. However, once again, y'all don't watch the videos of my real voice. It seems like y'all those videos have less views than the ones of me using this voice. Oh my God. Like, I don't know. Do y'all like it and then y'all don't? So we're gonna test the theory. I'm gonna do this video using my real voice. So hello, me. So anywho, this man reaches into the freezer and then he had told me to stand there for a second and he was just like, come around here. And I was like, okay, so I'm looking at the freezer. Tell me why. For one, I guess this man clearly doesn't believe in banks because he had most of his money in his freezer. So he had one of those high-tech refrigerators. So it's where it has a deep freezer attached to the bottom. And then the other side is just a regular freezer. So this man proceeds to go into the deep freezer part first. I look down there. This man has blocks of ice. And he proceeded to, you know how ice makes that frost so you can't really see through it. So he proceeds to do this to the ice, right? This man has quite literally frozen his money. And you open the deep freezer all the way. For one, he got it like extended to where like it goes all the way back. It's just blocks of money frozen, y'all. Then like, regardless of me seeing that, I'm just like, you gave a new meaning to freeze your bank account. Like, what the fuck? And he didn't give me a tour of his house, but he said that he had more than one refrigerator like that in his house. He said he had another kitchen. So who knows how much money the man has frozen in his house. He turns his attention back to me, y'all, and he proceeds to reach up in the regular freezer part. Pull out a brown bag. You know somebody got money when they keep money in a brown bag. He empties the brown bag. He had $20,000 in this brown bag. Mind you, there were several little brown bags just all up and through the freezer part. Meanwhile, the deep freezer part had frozen blocks of money. The $20K was wrapped up in some weird way. This man proceeded to pull off $200 and give it to me. Mind you, for all the money he had, he definitely could have gave me more. But that was my first time coming to this man's house and being a sugar baby. I heard you have to work your way up. He gave me $200 and was like, that should be enough gas and food and, you know, breakfast for tomorrow and lunch for all that. I was like, yeah, thank you. You know, I appreciate that because when I was in college, $200, someone just giving that to me in my hand, that was a lot of money. Like $200 was a lot for a working college student in 2016. So that was cool. You know, we say our goodbyes. We didn't really text that much after that because I texted him like that next day, like just, hey, how are you? And he didn't text me back. So I was like, okay, so maybe he's just not a texter. He's just one of those people that just, if I'm texting him, it's to pull up and that's it. So I gathered that from the situation. So a couple of days go by. I see him again, right? Mind you, because I'm at work and he comes in the store to check his mailbox. You know, when he comes in, of course, I got some decorum. I just speak to him like I speak to any other customer coming in. I was just like, hey, how are you? Welcome in. And then sometimes the people that we knew that were regulars, people that had probably had mailboxes there for years, and he was one of them, we will get the mail out for them, like as we see them pulling up, like, oh, they're coming to get their mail, right? But I didn't rush to get his mail out because sometimes he doesn't even get the mail. He'll just come and be like, I know I have a package that came today. Fuck the mail. You know, the mail can stay. I'll get that another time, you know. And normally he'll indicate that when he comes in, hey, I'm coming for a package. The mail can stay. But he came in and I was like, hey, how are you? Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. And I wasn't extra with it. You know, I had some decorum. And apparently that was the wrong thing to do. Because I didn't act so overjoyed to see him or act like, hey, Zad, you know, I didn't act no kind of way. I didn't give him no grand interest when he came in. Y'all, this man showed out on my phone and exposed his true weirdness. And he didn't show out in text message because by now, this man has blocked me. He decided that he does not want to talk to me. So he has now reached out to me on Facebook via a pseudonym. This is where it gets weird. Now, this may get a little confusing because this was the era of Facebook where you had to accept the request. And even if you texted back before you accepted the request, those messages would like go away when you did accept it. So, or either he deleted his message. Either way, screenshots are a motherfucker, y'all. So this man sends me a message as Trey Richardson. This is a pseudonym. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have this name anymore, but that's not his name, you guys. He proceeds to say, hey, beautiful, it's your special UPS friend. Saw you today and you seemed down. Just wanted to tell you that I think a lot about you and wanted you to know that I'm always here if you want to talk. Really wish things would have worked out better between us because I miss your company. Y'all, I've only go to see this man once, and this is only a few days after we saw each other. And I haven't seen him since then. He just came in the store, and because I didn't act all overly excited to see him, now I get this. Now I'm down today, right? Because I miss your company, give me a chance to put that smile on your face. And that was his number in case you forgot, right? And so I accepted the request. And this is where it got, like, I started getting angry. So this is blank, by the way. That was his real name. I used this profile to spy on my folks. Sir, what the fuck do that mean? So I figured out what happened. I initially responded to his real page. And then he sent me the same message from this page. So when I responded to his real page, he never did text back. So he sent the same message on this page. So that's why I have two different threads for the same screen. So I was like, who is this? And at that point I was confused. So I got the blah, 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 and send a pic. So apparently I was originally texting in another thread. So I was like, send a pic because I don't remember, right? So he sends a picture. And I'm like, oh. Like, I don't, at this point, I was just kind of like, why are you inboxing me via Facebook? Like, you have my number. Turned out this man decided fuck me before engaging in this conversation. So he blocked me and then reached out to me via a fake Facebook page. So my unenthusiastic greeting and then my unenthusiastic response to his picture, he was just like, this is such a, I think I remember what he said up there. He was like, this is such and such. I just use this page because of such and such. And I was like, and he sent the sad face. Looked like I had a few more packages arrive. I'll be in there soon. Don't sneak a bomb in one and blow me up. I think about you a lot and wish we could start over. Y'all, this is only a few days after I saw this man. He never did text me back when I texted him the next day. And then he came in. Apparently, he came in a few days later. I didn't give him no extraordinary greeting. Now it's something wrong with me. It's like in the first message. So I think about you a lot and I wish we could just start over. Headed to bed soon. I'm deleting this app because I don't want it connected to me cell. Text me if you want night. And at that point, I responded because I was at work and some more shit. And I was just like, I'm not ready to deal with another person. Don't want to either. Because y'all, meantime, in between this time, this man had called me to explain himself. This wasn't even this was only a couple days after I met this man. And I texted him the next day. He didn't text back. So it went from you just helping girls out and I don't start off with sex to now you on a full-blown relationship, and because I didn't act a certain way when you came in, now something wrong with me and I think about you a lot. I wish we could start over, headed to bed. So at that point, like, this is meantime, between time, like I said, he called me. I was like, I'm not ready to deal with another person and I don't want to either. Like, you just got too much going on. Like, what the fuck? You know, I was like, this is weird as fuck. Y'all, look what this man's well, never mind. Apparently, you have an attitude problem anyway, so forget about it. I'm done. I won't bother you again. Laugh face. I said, you mad because you weird? Question mark. Like, that was a legitimate question. Like, you're weird and have an attitude off nothing, and I didn't act some kind of way when you came in the store, so now I got an attitude and something wrong with me, and oh my God. And then somewhere in these text messages, y'all, this man called me a bitch, and I was just like, I was so like thrown off by it. Like I said, I don't know why some of these are missing. Like I said, we were texting in 2 different threads at one point, because he was inboxing me from his original thread that I didn't see, and then he started from this pseudonym. So I said that, and I ain't forgave you for calling me a bitch either. Like, he called me a bitch for, I can't remember what it was for, but apparently, yeah, bitch leave real fast from a white man's lips. It quick to come out. He said, well, if I'm weird, you're definitely a bitch. LOL, you're the one posting selfies and going around like you're better than everybody. Y'all, this man follow me on social media. This is a regular social media account, and I'm just posting. He's mad because I posted a selfie, y'all. I'm glad to see the real you, though. I'll never speak to you again with your two-faced attitude. Wait, two-faced attitude ass again. And you better believe that. Fuck you and fuck off. I'm so happy I did not see this man again, because he definitely would have killed me. Y'all, he removed his mailbox from the store. He ain't never come back in there again. Middle-aged white men are fucking weird, yo. Like, that's it. That's all.